Welcome back to MCReviews Monstercat 003 Momentum. If you hadn't heard already, I was away last week, so that's why you didn't see any uploads from me. Sorry, I forgot to let you know on the podcast last week. Today, we will be talking about what I believe to be Monstercat's first ever drumstep song, Formless by Feint. So, drumstep is a genre that I don't really know that well. It's in a strange place for me, because unlike its brother, drum and bass, drumstep doesn't feel like a particularly consistent genre. In fact, probably one of the least consistent on Monstercat. And what do I mean by that? In this context, when I say consistent, I don't mean to say that drumstep is inconsistent in quality, though there is an argument for that. I mean that the way one song sounds to another song is very inconsistent. Take, for example, Against the Sun, Animal Instinct, and Soldier. All considered drumstep, but all completely different songs. Now, I know that there are heaps of genres that are like that from time to time, but for me, and I might be totally wrong here, but drumstep just feels like such a loose genre that it really doesn't even mean anything. But I do quite like Monstercat's selection of drumstep tracks. A lot of mediocre ones, but not too many bad ones, and a bunch of really good ones. The examples coming to mind are what I love, being the Zan Griffin remix of Deeper Love, Breakdown VIP, Spection, and Undercat. So, as I may or may not have said before, Feint is easily one of my favourite Monstercat artists. From Time Bomb all the way up to Phosphor, he has struck drum and bass gold, with a great mix of melody and bass, always with awesome beats that don't always follow the generic patterns that the genre is known for. But unfortunately, up until Ep.7, he really wasn't a particularly great artist. He was obviously quite new to making electronic music, and in all honesty, had some of the label's worst production value, and this song is a prime example of that. So the track starts off with a couple of things, the biggest being the main lead, which is a pretty upbeat short little chord progression. It's nice, but nothing special. The second thing being a backing acoustic guitar strum type sound which mimics the main melody, which is actually really cool. The third is a very minor basic two-step beat, and the final element so far is a smooth kind of backing pad which adds a little dreamy element to the track. Formless moves forwards by after 10 or so seconds, adding a very basic little bass melody in the background. It's fine, but again, nothing amazing. After a little while, a fast, almost shaker sounding sample is layered over the beat. It just repeats the one sound at a pretty high speed, yet again, it's fine. A minor piano accompaniment is added mirroring the main melody. It doesn't last too long though, as a white noise sample builds up in the background, and the melody has a little glitch effect before the song drops. So yeah, this intro certainly hasn't blown me away. Like I've said, most of the elements are just fine, and they do the job. I like the backing guitar, but that's about it. The rest is just kind of okay. But then the track drops, and we get to the biggest issue with this song, and this song is just so muddy. I'm not sure if that was intended, but it just feels like the audio quality for this drop was really bad. The sounds just kind of blur together, and to be honest, it sounds like a bit of a mess. And that is a pretty big pity, because a lot of the individual elements are pretty good. The beat, while slow, is pretty unique and interesting for drumstep. The main electric guitar bass is growly and could have been really awesome in the right hands, and the main dramatic backing melodies are all cool. It's just that the way that they have all been produced and put together just doesn't work at all, and this is one of the few times on Monstercat that I actually have doubted the mechanical talent of the producer, at least in this point in Feint's discography. There is a good song somewhere here, but I just feel like he didn't have the talent at the time to properly pull it off and make the sounds pop and sound like individual elements instead of being one big blurry mess like I feel it is. It is possible that this was a purposeful decision to give it a grungy, makeshift feel, but even if it was, I still don't like the way it sounds. There are a couple of cool things that happen in the drop, like the main melody glitching out occasionally a little bit, and going on a fast gate or saw, which gives it a bit of a stop-start feel. And towards the second half of the drop, a minor melody is added, but neither of those additions can fix the big issues that this drop has to me. And it's strange, because in all of the non-drop segments of this song, the production quality sounds pretty good, and the sounds all work and pop individually again. So it goes out of the drop by stripping everything and bringing back the piano version of the main melody. This is accompanied by a pulsating backing white noise-ish melody, and yet again, both these elements are fine. They're harmless but boring nonetheless. Soon enough, a plucky little backing melody is introduced. I like it, and it has a satisfying twang on it, which is amplified by it being on a lot of reverb. And then there is another little white noise build up, the main melodies glitch out a little, and we find ourselves in the second drop. So from what I can tell, the second drop is pretty much the exact same as the first, just with one major difference. That being that a very dramatic main melody is layered over the main electric guitar bass, which is is a pretty large improvement and adds a fair bit of substance to the drop, but the same issue as earlier applies regarding the sound quality holding the drop back. Then we get to the second midsection, which is the exact same as the first, except there's a very light and hat-focused drum and bass beat which is layered over it. After that, the third drop, and probably best part of the song, comes around, and it's very similar to the second drop, just with a few major changes. The largest and my favourite is that the very slow drum step beat is replaced with a really fast drum and bass beat. This beat is great. It doesn't 100% follow the generic D&B pattern, it more loosely follows it, changing it up where necessary. I will admit I'm probably biased towards D&B, but the beat here just really does add a lot of enjoyment to the song for me. The second drastic change in this third drop is that the main bass and melody are sped up quite a portion, and their progressions are modified, which makes them both significantly better. So yeah, the third drop is basically just a faster, better D&B version of the first two, and is easily my favourite part of the song. The drop wraps up by stripping the main bass and only leaving the more melodic sounds and the beat for a couple of bars before stripping everything and going into an ending segment. The track ends in pretty much the same way it started, with a heavily melodic segment. The elements are just slowly removed until there's nothing left and the track ends. The ending is a little long for my taste, but not too bad. So that was Formless by Feint, and though nowhere near even close to my favourite Feint song, still a pretty decent track coming from such early Monstercat. The things I liked were the fact that each drop is unique, and I loved all the changes made in the third drop. I always love when a slow dubstep or drumstep style track turns into a faster drum and bass or breaks towards the end of it, because it completely changes the feeling and dynamic of the track, and it goes a long way for replayability. As for the bits I don't like, all of the non-drop segments weren't great and were just predominantly boring and pretty repetitive. The whole low production quality blurring mixing in the drop is a massive issue. It just at times feels like you're listening to a good song just through a wall or something. You just feel like you can't properly hear everything that's happening, which is frustrating because you think you like what you think is happening, you just can't properly hear what is happening. And the final issue that I have with the song is the drops can drag on a bit too long with not enough changing for my taste. But I found that once I got used to and came to peace with the low production quality, this song has some pretty cool things to offer. With everything considered, I think that this song would fit well at a 5 out of 10. If it were more well produced, it could easily have gone up to a 7 or maybe even an 8 out of 10 because of that awesome third drop and quite unique sound design. But because of the blurry and bad production quality, I had to bring the score down quite a bit. But this track does a pretty good job of showing what Feint could do really well later on, and what I know he will do really well later on. I know that this is the last Feint track for a very long time that I won't be giving a high score, so anticipate a lot of 7, 8s and 9s in Feint's future. So yeah, let me know below if the low production quality here bothered you, or if you could see through the fog and find a great track. Also, let me know what you do and don't like from Feint. You could be expecting Pete's review of The Journey by Resonate up tomorrow, and then my review of Full Focus by Noisestorm the day after that. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.